Hey up,
Good
how we
evening,
doing?
Paul. How we doing?
Yeah, we're a bit nearly colour coordinated here, aren't we?
Yeah, we're all in the blues tonight.
Well, mine's I think this is supposed to be lilac, but it looks blue.
Kelsey,
Evening, Kelsey, love.
Ellen, and the Real Honest Ghost. How we doing?
Evening, Dom.
I hope you're
Nice to
well.
see you.
I hope you guys are well. So yes, we're back again on a Monday evening, 7 o'clock, and it's a beautiful sunny day again. The sun,
It's cracking, isn't it? It's absolutely cracking.
it's turned back up as the sunshine.
Be a hot week apparently.
Evening, baby. He's good. Evening, old people. What? Give him some back. Tell him, Paul. It's not a good start, ain't that? Yeah, we're good and well. We're just saying it has been a grand. It has been here in West Yorkshire. It's been a grand day. I think we've had a couple of nice days. What about in Hull?
Yeah, it's really, really, really hot. It's really nice.
Have you been getting in that garden?
I went out to have an hour or so this morning, but there was a bit of a coolish breeze, so I came back in. No, bugger it.
Yeah, you're right. On his ghost, he's been to Doncaster, and he says good job at air conditioning works.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's a look. It used to be a luxury, that, doesn't it? When you think of old cars.
Yeah.
You were lucky if you got an old car that didn't leak water. I remember old cars when you to defrost them.
Yeah.
Father-in-law's car, and it were I can't tell you what make it was, but it were an old one with wind-up windows and what have you. And
did you have to put your hand out the window to go right and left and all that kind of crap?
Well, he says to me, just wind the window down and clean that mirror because it won't clear. I can't.
Right.
Then he went, don't bother because I can't get it back up if you wind that one down.
Yeah. So there you go.
Right.
It's
By heck, you were posh.
I don't think I've ever had a Mark III Escort.
I don't.
I'm trying to remember. I've had quite a few cars, but I don't think I've had one of those.
Yeah, I had. It cost me a bloody fortune with insurance, but I was a single man at the time, and I thought I'm going to treat myself. What with
an Escort?
Yeah, it was an XR3i.
Right.
Injection, so it was like pull off a shovel. And I would have known when I ranked insurance, that's how much. Bloody hell. I wasn't a young lad either in my 40s.
Yeah, did they tell you it'll go down next year? The older you get, the less it gets.
Oh, yes, it does.
They've been telling me that all my life.
Yeah. Well,
and it never does.
I don't claim to have a car, you see. Wife has one, and she puts me on her insurance. So because I don't go out enough to use a car, really. Like yourself, have you missed your car?
Yeah, I have a couple of times, but just a minute or so. Thought, well, I could have really gone to the shop for this.
Yeah.
But you've always got one of them.
There's always
one of them things that ride round on bicycles.
Yeah. I used to have a Vauxhall Nova as well. The Real Honest Ghost. Yeah, a nice little.
No, I haven't had one of them either. So there you go. There's two cars I haven't had.
I mean, apart from that XR3i I got, and my mate taught me into buying it. I didn't buy it off him, but he taught me into buying it, and I've never really been a petrol head, or whatever you call them. I've not.
Car's a car to me,
especially now. I mean, it's here to be for me now. That's all they're there for.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a nice car, but Yeah, that mine over were.
Yeah, I had the best car I had was an MGB GT.
Oh yeah,
You know, the 2-seater one.
right.
I think that's what it was called. I can't remember now. It was a white one, and it had one of these canvas tops. You know, you took the top off,
soft
basically.
top, aye.
Yeah, soft top.
Aye.
Yeah, I didn't have it for long. Long enough, I suppose.
Yeah. I go for like Tom, Honest Ghost says here. I go for comfort now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Like I say, I don't have a car. But wife's last 2 cars she's got have been automatics, and I don't like automatics.
No, I
I
don't.
like to be able to feel gears and know that I'm in control.
Yeah.
But I am getting told off. But
I think you should hold that little comment, Bibby. That's a bit much, mate.
It's yeah, and the one she's got now, it's all electronic and it's bloody. It talks to you and everything.
Oh,
it measures everything. You get out of the car and it tells you how far you've been, and well, I know they do anyway, but it'll tell you your journey and where have you been, and it's a hybrid, so sometimes when you drive it, you can't hear it, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
It goes into, if you're under 30 mile an hour, it goes into electric. So it's quite. I've got in taxis like that and all around town, and it's like bloody hell, isn't it quiet? So when they do decide to go all electric, which they are saying they're going to do, it'll be strange on the roads, won't it, with the noise?
Yeah, I suppose it will.
You'll lose a lot of that.
Not that I walk on the road, Bobby, but you know.
Well, I was talking to a lad in pub about walk on the road. I was talking to a lad in the pub about a bus driver, and he's saying they're trying to all go electric. So I said,
yeah, I think all the buses in Hull, but I think they're all just changing to all electric buses.
Yeah.
All of them.
Apparently, it costs 150,000 for a single decker.
Yeah.
Bus. But he said he don't like it. He says he was like me. He said I like to be able to change the gears. Although you got a lot of gears on a bus, he says I still like to do that. Now I don't have to. He says, and they have a bit of problem with powers because there's so much electric on a bus with doors and everything else.
Yeah.
So he says they can have a little bit of problem with power, but that's the way they're going. That's the way they're going, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't knock it, can you? Really?
Well, it's environment friendly, and we're not relying on oil from all these bloody wealthy bloody Arabs, are we? Because that's what them's the ones that rule the world, aren't they? The oil owners.
The oil wallers.
And if you can stop, getting stuff off them, automatic, absolutely brilliant. You like it, do you? You like automatic, Ghost, do you? I'm not so keen. He's a cheeky beggar, he's Bibby, isn't he? I've seen electric buses arriving at Paxton in Scarborough. They get the chassis from China, the battery's already fitted, and build the coach on that. Oh, I didn't know that.
Right.
Yeah, that's not far from where you're from, Scarborough.
Yeah, well, it's about 30 miles or so, I think.
Well, it's still dirt road in comparison, isn't
it? It is. It's spitting distance, isn't it? It's closer than me than you are.
Yes.
But only just.
Yeah. It's about, I think it's about 90 miles to Brid from here.
Is it? I'm not in Brid.
About 90 miles, because her sister lives in Brid. She works for a hospital in Scarborough. So I don't think Brid has an hospital, has it?
Well, it does. It does have an hospital. But I don't know what it does, if you see what I mean. It was it's not a very old hospital. It was built in the I think in the 1980s or so. But now I don't think it's used as a hospital. When I drive through to Scarborough, or used to, and of course I go the coast road, so I have to pass Brid. And when you pass the hospital, which is just on the outskirts of Brid, there's a sign saying UTC. So what's that all to do with? What UTC?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bloody hospital, but I don't think I don't think they've got an A&E and all that kind of crap. I really don't know.
Right.
The only thing I know about that is my mum died in there, so I know there was a hospital there.
Yeah. Well, she works for one in Scarborough anyway. She's a radiographer. She does all X-rays. So we go over now and again.
Aye.
But she don't live up front or anywhere, and I forget where she lives at. Just it's about a mile out at centre.
So she lives in Brid and works in Scarborough.
Yes. Well, she worked over here. She lived in Clayton in Bradford, and she worked at BRI, Bradford Royal Infirmary.
All right.
She got opportunity of a move. Well, they were just her and daughter, and they decided, let's start afresh. And
let's hit the coast.
I don't think she'd have done it if she'd have met Paul in Bridlington beforehand. But that's it, because she might have thought they were all like that from Brid.
Yeah, they might have done.
Anyway, I heard last night Kelsey were doing a countdown on Levi's in.
Yeah, we'll be down into double figures soon. Not long.
Right.
Not long. Double figures in days, that is, not months.
Right. Well, that's bloody crackers. That I've put up Bridlington Hospital in Google. It's put up Bridlington Hospital, and when you click on website, it comes to and York and Scarborough Teaching Hospitals. It must be under them.
Well, it probably is. It
says Bridlington Hospital is a district hospital which provides surgical, rehabilitation and outpatient service for the local Bridlington community. It provides care for patients along the East Coast as far as Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cost them a bucket full of money to build that bloody hospital.
Did it?
Yeah. Yeah, a bucket full of money they spent on that bloody hospital. And then what? 10 years later, it's not really a hospital.
It opened officially opened by the Duchess of Gloucester on May the 16th, 1989.
There you go.
Bringing together services from 3 former hospitals. The hospitals had over 200 beds. The hospital has over 200 beds, which catered for the elderly patients and mental health needs, maternity and acute patients.
Yeah.
90. 36 year. Flies past, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It flies past.
Yeah, we had 3 hospitals in Brid, and they all had we actually had more than 3. Thinking about it, we had an A&E, and then we had the maternity hospital. Then we had another hospital out on the hill, and they closed them all down and opened up this other one. And now you have to go to fucking Scarborough.
Right.
Well, what's that all about? You've got to go to Chuppy. You've got to drive 20 miles to get to the bloody hospital. What is that all about?
Yeah.
When we've got one on the edge of town.
Crackers, isn't it?
It's mad.
Yeah.
It's total and utter madness.
I think the ghost knows the hospital. He says it isn't just small procedures, no A&E anymore.
Yeah, it hasn't got an A&E. And I don't think, it's, I don't know. I'm only guessing. It's just that I saw that, I see this sign that just says UTC. And I thought, well, it's got a big H and then said only UTC. No, well, it ain't a fucking hospital then, is it? For fuck's sake. I can't imagine how much money they've wasted. But there you go. That's He's riding Chupping Council for you.
Well, Kelsey's put 123 days from now.
There you go.
100 days countdown from 4th of June. So that's 17.5 week.
Have you just worked that out in your head?
I'm clever, me.
Yeah. Right.
I'll tell you in months if you want.
No,
It's 4
September.
months. Just over 4 months.
It's not.
No.
It's nothing.
And I'm clever. It's 2,952 hours.
I've spent longer in a dinner queue. Yeah.
Well, when you think of it in hours, it's bloody not, is it? Minutes, hours, days.
Well, apparently UTC stands for Urgent Treatment Centre.
UTC.
Yeah. And these centres can't even spell centres, what they like. Fucking Yanks. These centres provide urgent medical care for conditions that are not life-threatening, but require prompt attention. If you say, well, I've got a nail in my foot, they'll send you to fucking Scarborough. But there you go. That's
yeah. We spent millions on A&E in Scarborough.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
At one point, they were going to close Scarborough A&E, and at one point, and then everyone had to travel to York, and it's even and that's even Whitby lot. So they would be closer to James Cook, but everyone.
Yeah. So, it's.
Oh, we've got somebody in PP. Oi, mate.
It's just madness, isn't it?
Go.
Old goats? What's that, old goats? I hope you meant old goat.
Talking about you, Paulie.
He must be. He must be. I'm a bit of an old goat. Oi. Yeah.
How you doing, PP?
Evening, PP.
Mm-hmm. He's a good lad. Nice lad. Well, the ghost dad had an operation on his hand in Bridlington last year, so they're still doing stuff.
Who?
The ghost, his dad.
All right.
So there must be still be worth keeping up.
Well, it just says urgent treatment centre. So it's an urgent treatment centre, but it's not an A&E.
Which doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
And that's what we're short of A&Es.
Yeah, it's crackers. I just can't make head and tail of it. We went all those years with these, the whole town saying, we need a proper hospital. We need a proper hospital. And then they go and build it. Costs them an arm and a leg to buy the bloody land. And then, boom, it's gone. And I don't know how long it's been since it's not had an A&E. So,
yeah. I mean, we always used to when we were younger. When I was a kid, we always seemed to have more than one hospital local.
Yeah.
Well, we had like a isolation hospital.
Yeah.
A children's hospital. And your general hospital, all within a couple of miles, and just a small community. Well, not a small community, one area. Now,
but they decide to bring them all together to make it easier to do, and then boom, it's gone. Oh no, we're not doing that because there's not enough accidents.
But the inconvenience is by the public because
it's mad. It is mad.
But I know the population grows, like I said, but it just doesn't seem to make sense. And they're in a mess. So A&Es, I mean, I don't know, it's something like 4 or 5 hours. I mean, some hospitals that be overnight waiting. It's crackers, isn't it?
It is. It is. I just, it just beggars belief, doesn't it?
It's in a mess.
It beggars belief.
It makes you wonder how they got in that mess.
Well, we got in that mess because we keep putting dickheads in charge.
Because without health, you've nothing, have you? Simple as that.
Yeah.
My mother used to tell me that. But Bobby, without health, you've nothing. So always look after your health. She always used to tell me that.
Yeah. Dom, I'm sure that Bridge got an ambulance station. I'm fairly certain they have.
They will have, because it's a long way to go.
I can't imagine that they come all the way from Scarborough to pick people up. But
No.
I'm only guessing. But unless they've moved the ambulance as well as the A&E, because the ambulance station was on the same site as the hospital.
Right.
Clary, good evening.
Oh, it's Clary, my favourite. She's lovely, is Clary.
Did you have tomato sauce on your sandwich?
Me?
No.
Oh,
I'm going to say it's all over your face.
Bean juice is that. But
beans. Oh yeah, you emptied the bean thing.
All over. I'm not have to stop eating. Talking. I spilt it all over bloody mic stand, didn't I? That's what we're doing there. I'm trying to clean.
Right.
I smoke PP. I smoke 50 cigs. Drink copious amounts of alcohol. Big health. Cheers. Well, that's PP living life, isn't it? He's doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, you do what you want to do. Yeah, you can't knock it. It's I could eat a cigarette. I really could. If somebody come and said, here's a pack, I'd take it and eat it.
Have you ever smoked, Paul?
Yeah. I started smoking when I was 9 years old.
And what made you stop?
Money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not paying 15 quid for a packet of fags. No way on this bloody world.
No.
It wasn't for health reasons or any other reason. It was the money.
Yeah.
And, everybody used to say, oh, well, you can go and get these cheap cigs down the road there. That shop down there, he sells cheap cigs. Yeah, but you've no fucking idea what you're sticking in your face.
No. Yeah.
But, there you go. I don't know. It's a bit like, that I watched a thing on the TV the other day, a news report where it had said about these injections you can get for losing weight or whatever, and apparently they're on prescription, and yet people are buying them online and sticking them in the bodies. Well, what the fuck is that all about? How stupid can you be?
Yeah.
Somebody could have just pissed in the bottle and said, here, go and stick that in your bloody body. It'll make you thinner. Hey up, I've gone on leave. That, I've just been cut off because I'm starting to rant. So my camera's turned itself off.
I thought you'd fallen off your chair.
No, camera's turned off and said, hey, I've had enough of you, mate. Let's see if it comes back on. There we go.
Well, Clary's been busy, hasn't she? She's been to Rochdale for 3 hours, had 3 pints, and back to her room. Table booked for 7:30, couple more drinks, then bath and bed. Fresh for tomorrow. Nice one, Clary.
Yeah, nice. Rochdale.
Mentioned
Rochdale last night, and I was trying to remember why it stuck in my mind. I still haven't remembered, but...
What's that?
Rochdale. Well, it was mentioned last night on my live, and I said, oh, that rings a bell. And then I couldn't remember why it rang a bell.
There used to be a famous comedian from Rochdale.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Harding. Remember him?
Oh, I do, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
He used to sing a bit of country, and he'd play guitar and banjo.
Right.
He'd got like gingerish hair, but he had a big moustache, little round glasses, and he used to do comedy. Very funny guy. In a similar vein to, what's he called? Scotsman.
Billy
Connolly. Billy Connolly and Jasper Carrott. They all started same.
Oh, I like Jasper Carrott.
Yeah. Back in the day, I didn't like him now. He does them when he does them bloody. He does them game shows?
I don't know. I haven't seen him for a long time, but I did like.
Behave yourself, BP.
That's why I said when you said it's bean juice, I said, did you empty the bean tin?
Aye, I like BP. I don't see much of him, but he's a good lad.
So I was threw it in the background, but I think it went over everybody's head anyway, so it don't make any difference, does it? unlike me to be a little bit diplomatic.
Well,
I'm not known for it, am I?
you said you're going to say it.
Yeah, Jasper Carrot. He was funny.
I used to have it when I was about 17, 18. I had a couple of albums of them. You know, LPs.
What, Jasper Carrots?
Jasper Carrot and Mike Harding, Billy Connolly, and it were all shows they've done where they're telling jokes. You see,
all right.
And they used to do comical songs. And I remember I used to lay in bed listening to them.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
I love that humour.
Yeah.
He did that song, didn't he, Jasper Carrot? Funky Moped or something.
I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember a song.
No,
in fact, saying that, I couldn't tell you any of his gags, or
No.
I just know that I liked him. I thought he was funny.
It's like
bit like Harry Worth, I liked Harry Worth, and yet he didn't really tell jokes, did he? Do you know what I mean? My name is Harry Worth.
Well, as a kid, I remember him standing in front of the shop window and doing
Yeah. I've done that a few times myself. Noxie, good evening.
Hey up, Noxie, lad.
You'll have to forgive us because we're out on a picnic at the moment.
Well, I timed everything wrong, and I got my tea were ready just as ready to come on. So I'm just nibbling as well, but I'm trying to be discreet.
Shepherd's pie, Kels.
I tell you what, Noxie. Kelsey's having a good do. She's enjoying a scent today. Had a few beers, I think. Not Kelsey, Clary.
I couldn't say.
Clary.
I thought, well, I don't recall Kelsey saying anything like that.
No. Freddie Starr.
Oh, yeah, Freddie Starr. He was funny.
He had he was madcap, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He was a little bit crazy.
But
he was crazy. Well, when you say he was crazy, he wasn't that crazy, but it was a bit like what's the music man? Oh God, what's his name? The one who played the music, but
anybody.
No, he was a radio DJ and all that kind of things, but he was a comedian as well. Used to dress up and make stupid things. It'll come to me in a minute. Thin as a carrot, skinny.
I don't know.
Yeah, you will as soon if I say his name.
Right. Oh,
if it comes to me.
Kenny Everett.
Kenny Everett, that's it.
Right. He died young, didn't he?
He was cracking.
Mm.
He was a cracking guy. But like I say, he was a radio DJ.
But he pushed things to the limit, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Freddie Starr used to stay down the road from us when he did a place called Batley Variety Club.
Oh, Batley Variety Club, aye.
Over years, it had changed its name to different things, but these stars still come back. And he stayed at this place, and he were always on his own. He said, "Lad, I know he was maitre d' or whatever it is. He were on desk as you walked in and showed you where you were going and everything. And he said he used to meet him, but he were always a loner. He says he never drank, always stayed in his room while he were here, and he didn't really socialise. So he would a bit, but they did say that he could be quite argumentative, Freddie Starr. You know, he fell out with some TV companies because of that. But
yeah,
it just shows, you know, that madness. If you take the madness away, you'd probably take the comedy away. You know, it's like that. It's like with footballers, with Paul Gascoigne, absolutely brilliant football, but he were a crazy guy, always doing something wrong.
Yeah, because he was a pisshead.
But if he took that madness away, would he still have the same? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Well, Bobby Robson, who managed him, England, said about Gascoigne, I don't want to let him. I don't want to take that madness away, because if I do, he might not see the same Gaza.
Yeah.
And he said the one example when they were on, England were playing away, they were touring away in the 90s, World Cup or whatever. And he said, I told the squad, Bobby Robson, I want everybody in bed for 10 o'clock. And you're up early. There's no drinking tonight.
Got to be in bed for 10 and back in your room by 11.
Because we're playing at Germany or somebody day after. It was a really key game. So he said, I want you all in. Anyway, he got a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning to Bobby Robson. He tells his story. Oh, he did. And he says, do you realise that Paul Gascoigne's playing tennis? He says, what, 3 o'clock in the morning? He says, yes, he's playing tennis with somebody on in the hotel at 3 o'clock in the morning. He says, yeah, I'll go down and see him. So he says, I went down. He says, Paul, what are you doing? He says, I'm playing tennis. He says, 3 o'clock in the morning. I told you, 10 o'clock. He says, do you realise, Paul, that you're playing the best midfielder in the world tomorrow? And Paul Gascoigne turned around and says, no, he's playing the best midfielder in tomorrow, and that's me. That's what he said to him. And I told him, get up there now. And morning after, I says, you're not playing. And he said he was like a baby. He said, I did play him, but I wanted him to suffer. He says, but he was like a baby. He was crying his eyes out. But that madness, you see, if you take it away, do you take the skill away? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know.
It's a funny one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because a lot of these people live on the edge, don't they? They live on the edge. They take risks, and that's what can make them what they are. But yeah, George Best footballer of his time. Just he got the beer got to him.
Yeah, you see, you know, it just beer, drugs, and money.
Yeah, it's more so drugs today than it used.
But not in that order.
Well, there's a story of George Best. He tried everything to stop drinking, and eventually they put an implant in him. And if he drank, it'd make him sick, so the drink wouldn't stay down. Alcohol touched this implant, whatever it was, he wouldn't stay down. And he turned around and says, I got used to it. Said,
yeah.
Throw up and drink and throw up. It didn't stop him.
No.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's that's what an addiction is. You know, it's a bit like cigarettes, in the same thing. If you smoke, it's the same thing. You know, no, I don't know. It's an addiction. It's a curse, really. But
I'm just reading about what the said. I think Freddie Starr could have been a world-class comedian. He could have smashed it anywhere. Maybe not America, because they have a weird sense of humour, but in his latter years, they said he got stale. He was still doing the same stuff, you know. But and he had that trouble being blamed for something, and he took it to court and lost all his money. But But yeah, you're right, PP. If you're willing to take a chance, I suppose inside us all, we've all got something, but we don't know. We haven't released, maybe you know, you've not tried it. What about the snooker player? Forgot his name. Only played brilliantly when he was drunk and smoked.
Oh, Higgins.
Yeah, well,
Higgins, wasn't it? The Irish guy.
And, he was a friend of.
Permanently pissed.
What was his friend called? Snooker player. Bloody hell, can't think of his name. Jimmy White.
Oh yeah.
It was Jimmy White's mate. And Jimmy White on YouTube, you can check videos out where Jimmy White's saying he'd go and play, you know, off his head on vodka, but it was still brilliant.
Yeah, because you know, I don't know. I can't explain it, but
no,
yeah, just different things that affect different people, and
But
it's a bit like I presume nowadays they would call it on the spectrum or something like that. You know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, they'd think you was as thick as a dustbin lid. Well, they would, wouldn't they? You know, you'd go to school and they'd take the piss out of you and sit you at the back of the class and decide that you weren't worth teaching. But there you go. That's back in the day.
There is old archives. I mean, I remember with Ghost saying there's archives where you could smoke while playing. Yeah, I remember embassy snooker tournaments.
Yeah. It's
same with
there was I'm trying to remember. Watch something on the TV at the weekend. I can't remember what it was, but they were doing something, and there was a bloke in the background with his faggot. Yeah, well, we should be doing this, and we should be in the fucking cigarette ash going all over the place. And I thought, what the fuck? Or, you know, when they used to go on talk shows, you know, they'd be sat there with this cig.
Oh yes.
Oh, you do, wow.
Well, you'd forget if you follow sport, you'd see darts players, snooker players, all smoking at the same time and drinking
pints. Get that pint down your neck. What was that little fat guy called? Jockey Wilson. He used to knock pints back as though it was going out of fashion.
Well, a snooker player, Bill Werbenek. Don't you remember him?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah,
I think he was a Canadian.
Yeah, I remember him.
He had a prescription from a doctor. The doctor said he'd got permission to drink 3 pints before he played snooker, just to settle his nerves. And the doctor agreed with him. How's that?
Yeah. Well, the doctor would prescribe embassy or players number 6 or catch them full strength back in the day. Go and have a cigarette and calm down.
I think that came out when they banned it, you know. And he says, "Oh, I can't stop drinking." So that he got a doctor's note saying he could.
Yeah. It's madness, isn't it? Really, it's madness. Can't do that nowadays.
Oh, well, you can't do it. How can you?
No, you can't.
Yeah, you shouldn't. The problem is, though, with drinking and smoking is, this is my belief is, you know, in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and some of the 80s, they encouraged us to drink and smoke because it was affordable. The working class man could afford, especially in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
it was regular. It was that people lived week to week, so they got the weekly wage. Friday them out of fish and chips, little bit left over to go out for mum and dad a drink, you know, and that went, and then they'd start all over again Monday with no money. They'd pay the rent and everything, and they live week to week. Now the government made it so that they could afford to have a smoke and a drink. Now, so they created that. The government. They created that culture. But 30 years later, then they start saying, "Well, we're going to stop it." So I think it's them to blame got us to this point. You know, maybe not me, but my parents were encouraged to. You know, and I think it's sad that they created that culture, and now they're trying to, you know, bloody. Well, you're an outcast now if you try and smoking a cigarette in public.
Yeah.
It's crackers.
Yeah, it is. It's mad.
I tell you what, I used to remember going to cinema with my mum, and my mum
Yeah.
smoking in cinema.
Yeah.
Another one. I've got another one. Went on aeroplane.
Yeah, cigarette and on trains.
Yep, trains, buses.
Yeah, whatever you went on, cigarettes.
You
And
could
then they brought on the trains. They brought no smoking carriages in,
Yes.
and they were all as empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they created it.
But yeah.
You see what people there, look. My mum smoked a cigarette in the hospital when she gave birth to me and my brothers.
Yeah, I can imagine it's right.
Well, I were in hospital. I remember it because I was about 19. I had a motorbike accident, and I was about 19, and they only kept me overnight. And they had a smoke room at the end of the ward.
Yeah.
Go in the smoke room and have a cigarette.
Yeah, calm yourself down, kid. Go and have a fag. Aye. Well, when I was in the forces, and we used to go to Germany every November. We had a month in Germany on manoeuvres in November. Well, we used to get what they called a free fag issue.
Right.
And you used to get 200 cigs every week.
That's good, isn't it?
Everybody got 200 cigs every week, whether you smoked or whether you didn't smoke.
Wow.
And it was free fag issue. I don't know if that was everybody, but definitely the ones I was with, we got free fag issue. Used to look forward to going to Germany for the manoeuvres. It was cracking.
Yeah.
You got paid extra money, and you could kill yourself on cigarettes.
Please put a comment there that I think you'll appreciate, Bob, Paul, and Bob. Have it right? It's put there. Have you seen it?
Yeah. We have. We've gone soft, mate. We've gone soft. We're just the country's full of bloody snowflakes. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, I'd hate to think, I just can't really grasp in my head that if we got attacked, we'd just fucking turn over and say, yeah, here, take it.
Well, that's what they're doing now.
You know, it's
what they're doing now. It's
mad.
And the government can't get their head around why we feel like we feel.
Yeah.
You know, when they're putting my parents are dead, but you know, the elder folk, when they're putting up at the back of the queue and they've got all these in front of them who haven't contributed a penny.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
It is, yeah.
I
agree, Bobby.
Old folk and children should be at the front, followed by women, and then men, you know, come last because we're physically fit and we should be able to. And that's morals, that's principles, and that's how it should be. But they're not. There's, you know, it's crackers, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
There's no women and children first in this country. It's all about class system. Look at the retired policeman who got arrested because of freedom of speech last week.
I don't know. I didn't see that one, so I don't know.
It's crackers.
I know there were one arrested for kiddie fiddling.
Was there?
I think I heard it on the news today.
Yeah, it's time they sorted that out.
Yeah, so
I
don't know.
That's a dark subject, isn't it?
Yeah. We've just got our priorities wrong. That's all. It's we need to.
Well, he wants to sue him if that's the case.
I don't know. I can't get the. I can't get the plot. I'm trying to. I'm reading it and can't get the plot.
Well, it's twisted and turned for the last bloody 70 years, hasn't it? There's no consistency whatsoever in this country. Nothing. It changes month to month. You know, they decide they're doing something different. But just lately, over the last 18 months, well, since Labour came in, it's just been take.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell did they get away with taking away the winter fuel allowance?
Well, because we voted the bastards in.
Yeah,
sorry, I do apologise. You know, it's our own fault.
No, I don't mind swearing, Paul, if it's meant, you know.
It's our own fault. We voted them in. So it's our own fault. We can't complain because we were warned. Plenty of people warned us about what Labour were like. And, you know, people of our age can remember what Labour are like because they're always the same. They promise you the bloody earth and then they rip you to bits to get it. They're always the same.
Right.
Never change. Labour will never, ever change. They should never, ever get into power again. What we should do is... No, we shouldn't, because I'm not allowed to say that. I'll probably get locked up. But anyway, I'm not going to say it. But you can get the gist of what I was going to say.
Shoot them all and start again.
You can't say that.
Well, what choice have you got? It's the devil or the deep blue sea.
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody's got to do the job, don't they? If you don't step forward and come up and say, you know, and boom, this is me or whatever, and you're credible, you aren't going to get anywhere. And unfortunately, our system means we've only got two parties. You either have the Tories in, who are shit, or we have Labour in, who are bigger shits. So we have a big shit or a little shit. Don't make any difference. They're both shits. Because you can't get away from the fact that dickhead who's in charge of us now got less popular vote. He's got less than 50% popular vote. He's not saying things for me, and I presume you and thousands of other people, because he won by, I don't know what you could call it. It's a fixed system, isn't it?
Yeah.
A fixed first past the post is a fixed system.
Yeah, you've got to. Well,
it makes sense, doesn't it? If you've got 20 people standing and there's 1 million people voting,
mm-hmm.
and one gets 40,000 votes, well, he's won, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna get fucking beat, and yet he's got less than half of the vote, and yet he still gets the power. It's crackers. The system's crackers.
They say that a no vote, if you don't vote, it's a vote for the party that's already in.
Well, yeah, we all should vote, quite honestly. I never miss voting. I voted at every election I've had the opportunity to vote. I've voted. Whether I like them or not. Now, you know, people, there's a thing... What you know, when they count the votes, if you put 2 crosses on your thing, it's a wasted vote because it won't be counted. They call it, and I can't remember what the word is, but there's a name for it. However, if you put 2 lines through the whole of the page, and in the middle of that put not voting for any, it's not a wasted vote because they have to count it.
Yes. It's
not a mistake. You've done it. It's got to be counted. So, of course, if everybody did it, nobody would get fucking in, would they?
spoiled ballot, yeah. Yeah. But they've mentioned Margaret Thatcher. Now, my thoughts on Margaret Thatcher were, I was a young lad when she was in power. I was early 20s. And there were no work. She did a lot of damage. She sold everything. Sold us coal industry and everything. We had nothing. But she was an iron lady. And she was probably the best we've had in a long time.
She was rough, tough, and hard to bluff.
She that famous quote, she says, "The lady is not for turning." She had Ronald Reagan on a like a puppet. She ruled the roost there. There were none of this big brother, little brother. He listened to her, because if she made her mind up, that were it. Now this is she took all the crap. If you did something, she took the crap. I'm not changing. I've said it. That's why we ended up with the Falklands like it was. I'm standing by it.
If she hadn't been there, we'd have given it away.
Now
we'd have walked away and said, "We're not sending our troops down there."
The argument was, Paul, was that, look, why are we sending troops over millions and millions of pounds? Why are we sending them 12,000 miles for something that we don't really need? We don't want. That was the argument, because there's other things need paying for. Well, that happens in life, you know. But what I'm saying is, everything she did, she stood by. There were none of this, like your recent prime ministers changing their mind week to week, not making a decision. And that's why she was hated, with that woman. But she certainly ruled the roost. She said it as it was.
Well, when you say she was hated, she wasn't hated by the whole country.
No.
You know, I can definitely say she wasn't hated by the whole country.
No. But she stood her ground, and that's what we've not.
Well, that's what you've got to do, is stand your ground. If you think it's right, you stand your ground.
Right. Now, this Farage, he talks about standing his ground, and it's only one way it can do it. But would he do that if he got a bit of power?
I don't know. I don't really know, and that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't know how they're going to...
You've only to look at like the Starmer and that bloody Rishi Sunak. They're not men. I'm sorry, but they're not men. They don't stand up for the rights. It's all a game with these guys. We've done it again, Paul. We're talking politics.
Yeah, well, you can't help but talk. I didn't bring it up. You did. You brought Thatcher up, not me. Don't be having a go at me about Maggie.
She was a powerful, very powerful leader. She
got a few, you know, I'm not knocking it. She got a few things wrong. But she got a few things bloody right.
Unemployment were unbelievably low. Aye. You know, she got a lot of unemployment.
She got some things right and some things wrong, which you can live with.
I mean, look at the coal industry. Wow, that was scary. You know, especially being from North, Paul. You saw villages destroyed because there were no work, because everybody in that village worked down the mines. You know, the pits. You know, and then you'd hear stories of police officers baiting people, saying, "I'm on double time watching you."
Well, they are. The police made bloody buckets of money, but because
they were taunting.
Well, yeah,
saying, "Look what I'm making."
Keep them out, because they were pulling it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, so you know,
I think to some extent she got that wrong.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to go that way, because
she didn't take a wage. I didn't know that.
We couldn't afford to pay. But you know,
yeah, she got voted.
If you think about it now, if you think about it, if we have not lost our coal industry, yeah, what would it be like now?
Well,
nobody wants fucking coal.
unless you export it.
Right.
But that was the idea. Let's get shut of it, and then we won't. That's an energy, a fuel that we won't deal with anymore. So you've no choice. You know, they were buying coal in to satisfy those who had coal fires from Poland. They were buying it in from Poland just to keep people happy who still wanted to use it. But very, very rare now. Anybody has a fire now, it's wood. It's wood. Coal's too expensive. Coke and coal. You know, can you remember Coilman coming round?
Yeah, I can.
He was black as ace of spades, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, I can remember it well. I remember. I remembered when I first got married. It was to a coal miner's daughter, and they used to get a ton of coal delivered to the front gate. A big truck would come up and just tip a ton of coal outside, and then they'd shovel it all into coal oil.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was free.
Oh, I used to where I lived as a kid, between two villages, and there were, you could see slack heaps. You could see them.
Yeah.
Front window, and there were no protection in yards.
Nice. Saying that, there was lots of slags across in West Yorkshire, weren't there?
But, yeah, it was a different world.
Yeah, it's.
I suppose if we're going to inevitably
totally
going to happen, but it just the timing was wrong, because a hell of a lot of people depended on that industry. Hell of a lot of people, families, lots of families. That was the only income they had. But anyway, that's politics.
They're not dead, are they? The families didn't die out.
Well, no.
There you go then.
Starved.
So,
starved.
Did they fuck?
Well, what did they do?
I don't know, but they didn't fucking starve.
Anyway, we've had a good old crack there.
Yes.
He's been as cheerful as ever.
Yeah. Yeah, blame it all on me, Bobby. You know me, do. But you know.
Well, blame it on Kelsey tonight. You can get blamed tonight.
Yeah.
No, we love Kelsey to bits. She's lovely. He's blessed, is Paul, having a mom like you. I've never seen anybody as sharp. He's on it. He's never had to use that bat, I don't think. Only maybe a couple of times in early days.
Only at the beginning, early days, it was a bat used to come out, but
she's
don't
still
need
got
it
it
now.
stoned up, hasn't she?
Yeah, it's
so 123 days. We'll see Levi.
Yeah, the only thing I have to worry about now is that I've got to stop reading the things out, if you see what I mean, just in case they've said something wrong and I open my gob. If you see what I mean, because she's normally on the case straight away and they've gone. And yet I see the bloody comment and right.
I think Kelsey's reading them faster than we're seeing them. So
I think you could be right.
You're lucky to have her. You're lucky to have her. Right, Paul, we'll call it a day, mate. We've done an hour.
Yeah, I was just reading this thing from PP.
I think we need to
sack this climate crap. I don't think we need to get rid of the climate stuff. I think some of the things are quite good that we're coming up with, different things. What I think is we've got gas below us, we've got oil out there in the water. Why don't we use it until we find something that will stop us needing it? Why import the crap when we've got it?
Yeah.
That's, we've got lots of places in this country where we could build nuclear power stations. Why aren't we building nuclear power stations? What's that all about? It's cheap, safe, and it's green. What can you say?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave this with PP because he's quite right. Your lighting tonight, Paul's a bit weird.
It's because I'm relying on the sun.
Well, have you seen what he put? Paul, have you had a blue rinse? Your hair's a mad shade of grey.
Yeah, well, it is grey.
It looks like
My hair's been grey for bloody years.
no, but it looks like it's a bit of blue. I think it's lighting in your room.
I'm sat in front of the window. It's light from outside, and of course
Right.
it's getting darker now. And I'm not turning little light on so I look a little bit better. So bollocks to it. And if I've got a blue rinse, I've got a blue rinse. I really don't care.
Right. I'm going to say to that. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a wonderful time again, and Paul's been the gentleman he always is. And he's very reserved, sat back, and he doesn't say much. So I don't think so. But hey, I enjoy these Monday nights. It's been a great.
So do I. I look forward to my Monday night. I can honestly say.
Thanks everybody for tuning in, and it's nice to see you again, PP, the Ghost, and all the rest. And I'll leave you to Paul to say goodbye.
Yeah, so folks, thanks for coming, and I can't say thank you to everybody because I can only see 3 or 4 names up in the thing. But yeah, we do appreciate you popping in, and we do appreciate you in the chat, because it's your chat that encourages us to speak about something, because otherwise we'd just be looking at each other like a pair of pillocks. So, folks, Sunday night live, Cheg's channel, Cheg update, and next Monday night, 7 o'clock, back with Bobby. So thanks for coming. Please leave a like, hit that little like, hit that. If you don't like us, hit that. We don't care. And leave a comment, because everything helps. So good night. Take care.
Guys. Night all. Bye now.
Live long and prosper. TTFN, and see you all later. Thank you.